Okay, so this video is going to be about Shadowrun 5th, hacking, and matrix rules, but with the caveat that we're going over my own homebrewed rules and how I play it at my table. Because the rules of matrix and hacking in Shadowrun 5th are pretty over-engineered, and they could be like really simplified down to a much easier level. It's kind of wild how you have to do like 4 different actions before you can turn a camera off in Shadowrun 5th. So I'm just going to go over my homebrewed version of the rules, but they are pretty similar to the actual rules in Shadowrun 5th. They're not too far off, so if you were to read the core rulebook, you'd see that mine are pretty damn similar, except for just a couple of differences. I'll call out what the differences are when we get to them, but we're going to start like real basic first. So in order to interact with a device that's not your own in Shadowrun, you first should understand the concept of what a mark is. A mark, a mark, excuse me, that was some wild font right there. A mark, that's still wild, but we're going to go with it. A Mark Wahlberg stands for, it's an acronym that is silly, but it's just a level of ownership that you have. Whenever you hack something and you want to get some level of ownership on it, you place your mark on it. It's kind of like your signature. And in Shadowrun 5th, in the core rules, there are 3 levels of marks. 3 levels of ownership. In my rule set in my homebrew, there are just 2 levels. And that's mostly because if you looked at core 5th, you would see that there's not a whole lot of difference between level 2 and level 3. Or really like what you can do at level 2, there's very little, so you might as well just like make it smaller, just level 1, level 2, easy. So what are these 2 different levels of marks that you can have on device if you were to hack it and fake ownership of it? Well, basically every matrix action in Shadowrun 5th requires you to have a certain number of marks on it. If you look at this cheat sheet over here, you'll see that we got a billion matrix actions. Don't worry about it. We'll have another video that goes over the ones that are important, the ones that you use the most. But all you gotta absorb right now is that these are your matrix actions over here, and each of them require you to have a certain amount of marks on them. You'll see here, to crack a file, you need to have 1 mark on that device. To erase a mark, you need to have 3 marks on that device. And some actions require you to be the owner, the actual natural owner, and you can't fake it through hacking that device. Only the owner can do that. Whoops. So, back to marks. Ooh, oh, I'm learning this crazy pen tool. Okay, so our level 1 mark, you can think of it as like your guest access, where you can, it's almost like you have read-only actions. You can't really write anything, you can't really edit a whole lot, but you can search for information on that device, and you can do some clever things with only level 1 access that you may not think of. But level 2, for all intents and purposes, you are an administrator, and you can do largely whatever the fuck you want to that device. If you get 2 marks on a car, you can drive that car as if it's your own. If you got 2 marks on a guy's smart linked gun, you could shut that thing off or make it eject the magazine clip so he can't fire any more bullets. Generally speaking, you want to shoot for level 2 when it comes to marks whenever you hack something in the Matrix. Okay, so now that you have a general idea of what marks are and how interaction with wireless devices in the Matrix work through marks here, let's just go over an example of how you would hack a device. Let's say that you are a dude who wants to hack a camera that's just recording you for no good reason. You're just this happy boy walking around, and you see this mean camera just looking at you. You want to hack it, you want to turn it off. Well, step one is you get marks. To do so, there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. There's two actions that you would do. It's either brute force, which is loud and the device knows that you're trying to hack it, but if you get some good net hits on it, then you're able to fry the circuits on it a little bit, possibly destroying it. Or you do something called hack on the fly. Oh, that went off my screen. Hack on the fly. And for that, you use your hacking skill. This is quieter. If you successfully get marks, the device is not alerted that you successfully hacked it. And for every net hit that you get on it, which means the difference, the subdelta, if you were subdelta, is that a real word? I got a minor in math somehow. If you got 3 hits and it got 2 hits, then you got 1 net hit. That's the difference. So if you get a net hit, then you get a bonus piece of information on that device. Also, with my homebrewed rules, this is going to blow some people's minds. If you get a net hit on a device, you get another mark on it. So you go from level 1 to level 2. Because it's just not fun to keep hacking a device until you get level 2 access for what you want to do. So step 1 is that you just do hack on the fly. And then step 2 is you look at this insane cheat sheet over here and you figure out the action that you want to do. You probably want to figure that out before you throw some marks on it so that you know how many marks you need to get in order to do the thing. But for the purposes of just shutting off this camera, you would send it a spoof command, which requires just 1 mark. Spoof command, and again, I'll go over what all these matrix actions do in another video. Spoof command is very similar to puppeteer if you're a technomancer, where you send a command to a device and it believes that you're the owner if it successfully went through, and it'll do that one action that you tell it to do. So that's about it as far as like a high-level overview of how to hack a device in Shadowrun. I gotta write in matrix action. So if you want to see some more bad handwriting and bad drawings over some simplified homebrew rules for Shadowrun 5th involving hacking, check out that next video. We're going to be talking about matrix actions that you can do, and the most common ones that you use, the ones that I find to be very helpful, and some other ones that you may find yourself using in a very niche situation.